Okay, this is for number 39. A few concepts that we have to understand is the translations of the graphs. That's the only way I can think of what the question is asking, is how the graph of the equation relates to another graph. Okay? So, whenever you have an x, this is just the any number or any variable. They're just going to give you a variable here. And you add an a to it, and it's not in parentheses, there's going to be an upward shift of the graph. And the same thing when you have an x and you subtract something on the outside, there's going to be a shift downward. Now the thing that's different is if you have an x in parentheses with a number, then that means it's going to move either left or right. So remember, if it's out of the parentheses, it's going to go up or down. And if it's inside the parentheses, it goes left or right. And it goes against what you would think. So if it has a plus, it goes to the left. If there's a negative sign, it goes to the right. So pay attention to those. So number 39 is f of x equals x minus 8 squared plus 7. And it wants to show how it's related to y equals x squared. So basically all you're doing is describing what happens in the graph. Okay? So let's start with the most obvious one. You have f of x. This whole thing is f of x. And you have a number added to it. So according to these rules, when you have something added on the outside, there's a shift upward. So one answer is it shifts up 7. Okay, so what else is different? You have an x squared here, x squared, but there's a negative 8. So what is this negative 8 doing? You have negative 8 inside the parentheses here, and that's not here. So you know there's been some kind of movement of the graph. So the next rule that applies is when you have inside the parentheses a minus any number, it moves to the right. So the next answer is shifts right 8 units. So the most important thing is to remember these rules here and what they look like. I believe that's the simplest way you can do this.